The Starship yard was enormous, stretching for kilometers into the sky of the industrial planet Tarsi's IV. Alien warships of every shape and color floated in the docking bays, each gleaming with polished metal, pulsing lights, and deadly weapons. Every ship had a purpose, and every ship was respected except one. It was small. Its hull was patchy with mismatched panels and exposed wiring. Its engines were uneven and the shape seemed odd, almost clumsy. Every alien engineer who looked at it shrugged and shook their heads. "This ship is useless," they said. "It will fail in any mission." And yet, one human saw it differently. Eli Vance wiped grease from his hands and studied the hull, crouched near the landing gear. His brown hair stuck to his forehead from the heat, and his jumpsuit was smeared with oil. He was one of the few humans working at the Great Alliance's shipyard, and everyone assumed he was just another weak human, slow, fragile, and naive. Eli ignored them. He ran his fingers over the hull, feeling the subtle curves and odd angles. To him, the ship was not broken, it was misunderstood. "Why do you care so much about that junk?" a voice said. Eli looked up and saw Zyra, a tall, insectoid alien engineer. Her green eyes blinked slowly. "It will never pass inspection," she said. "The council will scrap it and you'll waste your time." Eli smiled faintly. "Maybe, or maybe it just needs the right touch." Zyra rolled her eyes and walked away. Eli returned to work, opening panels, checking circuits, and adjusting the propulsion system. He worked quietly, efficiently, and without anyone noticing, he began making changes, not to fix the ship to someone else's design, but to improve it in ways no alien engineer had considered. The aliens had rules. Every ship had to follow strict guidelines for size, power, and weaponry. Humans, on the other hand, often ignored rules, sometimes dangerously, but sometimes brilliantly. Eli understood the ship in a way the aliens never could. He added small modifications to the energy conduits, rerouted the wiring for efficiency, and reinforced the hull with materials scavenged from discarded ship parts. Each change was small, almost invisible, but together they made the ship stronger, faster, and more resilient. For weeks, Eli worked in secret. He would stay after his shifts, sometimes late into the alien night cycle, carefully testing each system. He even built a small AI interface, something simple, but it could predict small threats and adjust ship systems automatically, a kind of instinct for the ship. The aliens ignored him. They were too busy with their grand warships, with enormous cannons and deadly missiles, to notice a small, patched-up human project. Then came the trial run. The Great Alliance decided it was time to test the ships in the asteroid belt near Drexelin Prime. It was a standard test: navigate through dense asteroids, avoid collisions, and demonstrate maneuverability. The alien engineers lined up their shining warships, confident they would outperform every other ship. Eli watched as Zyra's squadron of sleek, deadly ships zoomed past. Each one was perfect, designed for speed and power. Then came his turn. The council frowned at the sight of the little patched-up ship. "Do you even expect this thing to survive?" one of the counselors hissed. Eli climbed into the cockpit, his hands steady. He took a deep breath and activated the engines. The ship hummed, low and uncertain at first, but then, almost as if it knew, it responded to his touch perfectly. The asteroid belt loomed ahead. Rocks the size of buildings floated silently, waiting to crush anything careless enough to touch them. Eli weaved through the belt with ease. The alien ships had to follow strict calculations, moving in predictable paths. Eli, however, adjusted in real time. He tilted the ship, fired small bursts of thrusters, and even let the ship drift for moments to avoid collisions. It moved like water, flowing around obstacles that seemed impossible to avoid. The aliens watched in disbelief as the ship dodged rocks that would have destroyed any other vessel. When a massive asteroid suddenly changed its orbit, the little ship flipped sideways and shot between it and another boulder, narrowly avoiding a collision. Impossible, muttered Zyra, her mandibles clicking in shock. Eli smiled behind the visor of his helmet. He felt the ship respond like a living creature. Every adjustment, every calculation, it was instinct. Not rules, not manuals, instinct. After the trial, the council called a meeting. The aliens were furious. "This is unacceptable," one shouted. "It should have been destroyed." Eli stepped forward, calm. "It wasn't destroyed because it can adapt. It doesn't follow rules blindly. It reacts. It survives." The counselors looked at him skeptically. "It's only one trial. One trial does not make a warship." Eli nodded. "I know, but it's a start." The council dismissed him, but whispers began to spread. Some of the younger engineers were curious. Some of the seasoned ones were worried. Even Zyra, who had mocked him, could not deny it. The human had something different. That night, Eli returned to the shipyard. He climbed into the cockpit again and examined the control panels. "You did well today," he said softly to the ship. "But this is only the beginning. They don't see what you can do yet. We'll show them." The ship seemed to hum in agreement. Eli laughed quietly. He knew humans were underestimated everywhere in the galaxy. Aliens believed humans were weak, slow, and fragile. They didn't see how clever humans could be, how adaptable, how fearless when facing the impossible. And the ship, his creation, would be their first lesson. Over the next few days, Eli worked tirelessly. He modified the AI interface to anticipate attacks, added minor adjustments to the weapons, and rerouted the shields so they could strengthen automatically where the hull was weakest. Every part of the ship became a reflection of human ingenuity, unconventional, practical, and deadly in ways the aliens could not understand. Meanwhile, the aliens continued their drills, ignoring the small human ship tucked in a corner of the yard. They were confident. Confident that a human could not change anything. Confident that one patched-up hull could never matter. Eli did not argue. He let them believe it. Then came the first real test. A small alien patrol fleet malfunctioned near the asteroid belt. The Council sent a single warship to investigate, but it quickly became trapped by drifting asteroids. Communications went dark. Panic spread across the Council chambers. Eli volunteered. "I can go," he said. "I know the belt. I can navigate it safely." The Council hesitated. That ship," Eli met their gaze. "I know it can handle it, let me try." After tense minutes, they agreed, reluctantly. The human and the useless ship took off. As the ship entered the asteroid belt, Eli's heart pounded, but he smiled. The hum of the engines was familiar, comforting. The rocks came closer, larger, threatening to crush them. Eli adjusted the thrusters, nudged the hull, and the ship flowed through the rocks as if they were water currents. The patrol ship appeared, trapped and damaged. Eli guided his ship alongside it, carefully navigating the wreckage. With precise control, he towed the patrol ship free, avoiding collisions by mere meters. When he returned to the station, the Council was speechless. Not a word was spoken. Even Zyra's mandibles clicked slowly in astonishment. Eli stepped out of the cockpit and wiped his hands. He looked around the council chamber and smiled faintly. "You all rejected it," he said quietly. "But it doesn't care what you think. It only cares about surviving." The aliens had no reply. Some were afraid, others were curious. One thing was clear. A small human mechanic with a ship that everyone had dismissed had proven that humans, unpredictable, clever, and fearless, could change everything. After the trial in the asteroid belt, whispers about Eli and his little ship spread through the Great Alliance. Shipyard. Some aliens called it a fluke, others were genuinely curious. But no one dared call it a threat yet, except Eli himself. He walked through the hangar late at night, the hum of machinery and blinking lights the only sound. The stars outside the huge windows shone cold and distant. Eli's eyes scanned his rejected ship. To the alien engineers, it was still scrap metal on a hull. To him, it was potential, a weapon no one expected, a starship that could outthink, outmaneuver and outlast anything the galaxy could throw at it. Ready for some real upgrades, Eli whispered to the ship as he climbed into the cockpit. Human ingenuity in action. The first thing Eli did was study the ship's engines. Alien engineers prized raw speed, but he knew agility mattered more than brute force. He rerouted energy lines, added extra micro-thrusters in odd places, and adjusted the graviton stabilizers. The ship now moved like water, flowing around obstacles rather than forcing its way through. Next, he tackled the shields. Alien shields were rigid, designed to block direct hits. Eli built adaptive shields that could shift power depending on the direction and intensity of incoming fire. Small energy surges, often ignored by alien engineers, now strengthened the shields automatically in real time. A ship attacking it with a single weapon would find their attacks mostly useless. Finally, Eli worked on the AI interface. Alien ships relied on strict programming. Their AIs followed orders, ran calculations, and predicted enemy moves based on logic. Eli's AI would do none of that. Instead, he programmed it to mimic instinct, to improvise like a human pilot. It could predict enemy reactions, adjust shields, reroute power, and even find unconventional attack angles, all without orders. By the end of the week, the ship was transformed. It still looked like a patchwork of mismatched metal, but inside it was alive. Every system reflected human thinking, adaptable, unpredictable, and, above all, effective. The secret crew Eli didn't work alone. Slowly, he began gathering a small team. Most were humans like him, mechanics, engineers, and pilots overlooked by the Alliance. They had no rank, no fame, and no faith from the aliens. But they had one thing the galaxy didn't expect: creativity. There was Mara, a human weapons specialist, who could modify energy cannons to fire in irregular patterns that made targeting nearly impossible. Jace, the pilot, had an instinct for navigation in chaos, able to maneuver the ship with precision that alien autopilots could not match. Even Rilo, a curious alien engineer, had joined. Zyra's cousin, he had always doubted the Council, and he loved seeing humans think outside the rules. Together, they worked quietly, upgrading the ship. Every night, they tested new weapons, shield configurations, and engine tweaks. Every failure taught them something new. Every success built confidence. "We're not just building a ship," Eli said one night. "We're building a statement. The galaxy doesn't know humans yet. It's time they learned." The skirmish, the opportunity, came sooner than expected. A border skirmish broke out near Virelian Sector. A small alien fleet was being harassed by a raiding party from a rogue faction. The Council was slow to react. They believed it was a minor threat, easily handled by their standard warships. But Eli saw a chance. He approached the Council and requested permission to assist. "I can help," he said. "The ship can handle it." The Council laughed. "That thing, you'll be destroyed before you even reach them." Eli didn't argue. He smiled and turned to his crew. "Suit up. Let's show them what we can do." The human ship jumped into subspace and emerged near the conflict. The scene was chaotic. Alien warships fired energy blasts, rogue ships zigzagged wildly, and small civilian transports tried to flee. Most pilots were frozen, relying on strict formation tactics, but Eli's ship moved differently. He dodged incoming fire with instinctive maneuvers, weaving through energy blasts and asteroid debris. Mara adjusted the cannons, firing in unpredictable sequences that forced rogue ships to miss every shot. Jace twisted the ship through impossible angles, never following the predictable paths that alien AIs relied on. The rogue faction never expected a small, patched-up ship to intervene. In minutes, Eli and his crew disabled 3 enemy ships using only precision attacks and clever maneuvers. No alien fleet could have done it with the same efficiency. They relied on raw firepower and strength. Even Rilo, the alien engineer on board, whispered in awe, I didn't think it could do this. They think humans are weak, but this is incredible. Eli just nodded, focusing on the next move. Don't celebrate yet. Keep the ship alive. We're just getting started. Alien reactions. News of the skirmish spread quickly. At the council, senior engineers argued heatedly. How could a human ship, patched together from scrap, disable 3 rogue warships before our fleet even arrived? One older alien shook his head. It shouldn't be possible. Human technology is primitive compared to ours. Zyra looked uneasy. Maybe humans think differently. That's their advantage. The council dismissed the incident as luck, but fear and curiosity were growing. Aliens began to whisper about the small human ship, unsure if they should laugh, ignore it, or prepare for more. Meanwhile, Eli returned the ship to its hangar. It looked the same, patched, clumsy, underestimated. But inside, every system gleamed with potential. The crew was tired but exhilarated. They had faced real combat and survived, showing that human ingenuity could surpass raw strength. Humans begin to shine. Eli gathered the crew in the cockpit. You see, we are underestimated, he said. They think humans are weak. They think we follow rules, but we adapt. We improvise, we survive, and that is something they can't predict, Mara smiled. We did more than survive. We showed them a human ship can outthink fleets 10 times our size. Eli nodded. Exactly, and we're just getting started. Next time we'll do more than just survive. We'll lead. The humans laughed quietly, their spirits lifted. They had been dismissed, ignored, and ridiculed by the galaxy's most advanced engineers. And yet here they were, standing strong, confident, and proving that humans were unpredictable and brilliant. The next step, the council, unaware of the secret upgrades Eli had installed, prepared more missions for their standard warships. They believed their fleet was supreme. They had no idea that a small, rejected human ship lurked quietly in the background, waiting for its next opportunity to shine. Eli watched the stars from the hangar window, thinking about the galaxy ahead. There were more conflicts, more skirmishes, more threats. And each one was a chance for humans to prove themselves. He turned to his crew. We'll keep improving. Every day, every system. When the galaxy finally sees us, they won't just respect humans, they'll fear us. And that fear will be well-deserved. The ship hummed beneath him, alive with potential. It had survived asteroid belts, dodged energy blasts, and outmaneuvered fleets. It had started as a joke, a rejected hull, but now, with human ingenuity at its core, it was something else entirely. It was a symbol of humanity, clever, unpredictable, and unstoppable. And the galaxy had no idea what was coming next. The galaxy was not kind to the weak, the careless, or the predictable. Eli Vance knew that. His small, patched-up ship had survived asteroid belts, outmaneuvered rogue raiders, and surprised the Great Alliance. But survival was one thing. The galaxy would soon test humans in a way no one had ever expected. A massive alien armada appeared at the edge of the Virelian sector, dwarfing any fleet the Council had seen before. Ships with triple-layered armor, weapons capable of obliterating moons, and shields strong enough to shrug off entire barrages moved in perfect formation. The Council panicked. Their fleets were ready but slow, and their strategies were rigid. They underestimated the possibility that a human ship, much less a rejected one, could make a difference. The call to arms. Eli was called to the council chambers. He walked in calmly, ignoring the whispers of astonishment. Zyra watched him from the back, her mandibles clicking nervously. The counselors' faces were pale, fear clear in their multicolored eyes. The Virelian sector is under siege, one counselor said sharply. We have hundreds of warships ready, but the armada is enormous. It could destroy entire colonies before we react. Eli nodded slowly. I know the armada is large, but I also know something you don't. My ship, it can handle it. The counselors stared, disbelief written on every face. That patchwork hull, you'd be destroyed instantly, another counselor spat. Eli's eyes did not waver. Then let me try. Let me show you what humans are capable of." After tense deliberation and out of desperation, the council agreed. The humans would join the main fleet, but in the background as a test. They would not lead the battle, just support. The aliens believed that even if the human ship survived, it could not turn the tide. The first encounter, the human ship jumped into the conflict zone. The sheer scale of the enemy armada was staggering. Hundreds of ships stretched beyond the eye's sight, weapons bristling, shields glowing with energy. Standard alien warships engaged carefully, using calculated maneuvers, firing in perfect synchronization. Eli's ship, small and unassuming, moved differently. He ignored the rigid formations, weaving unpredictably between larger vessels. Mara adjusted the weapons to fire in staggered sequences, confusing enemy targeting systems. Jace twisted the ship at impossible angles, exploiting gaps in the enemy's pattern. The alien armada was designed for predictable, disciplined enemies. Humans were anything but predictable. Unconventional tactics. As the first wave of enemy ships approached, Eli realized conventional attacks would not work. Alien shields were strong, but they were programmed to expect direct fire. Eli's strategy was chaos. He split his ship into seemingly random movements, using thrusters in unexpected bursts, and fired irregular energy blasts from angles no standard targeting system could calculate. The enemy faltered. Ships collided, miscalculated, or hesitated. The human crew exploited every hesitation. With a few clever maneuvers, the patched-up ship disabled several enemy vessels, each one far larger and more powerful than theirs. Even the alien council observers on the main fleet were forced to notice. It's impossible," Zyra muttered. "No human ship should do this." Eli grinned behind his visor. "Humans don't follow your rules," he whispered. A crew united. The human crew was more than a team. They were a family, each member anticipating the other's moves. Mara recalibrated weapons mid-flight. Jace executed impossible maneuvers, and Eli coordinated it all. Even Rilo, the alien engineer who had secretly joined them, adjusted the ship's systems on the fly, learning from human improvisation. The humans had learned something the aliens never could. Rules were useful only as guides, never as limits. They reacted, they adapted, and they exploited chaos. One particularly massive enemy ship, a dreadnought, swept in, its weapons capable of destroying the human ship with a single blast. Eli did not panic. Instead, he baited the dreadnought, leading it into a field of asteroid debris. Using the ship's adaptive shields and micro-thrusters, they dodged debris and enemy fire in a dance no alien ship could mimic. When the dreadnought fired, its own projectiles collided with the asteroids, exploding in a spectacular display. The crew cheered quietly, adrenaline surging. This was the first real test of their ingenuity, and they were winning. Turning the tide, the battle raged for hours. Alien fleets tried conventional strategies, overwhelming firepower, rigid formations, coordinated strikes. But the human ship was unpredictable. Eli exploited weaknesses no one else saw: shields overloaded at key points, engines misaligned, weapon systems poorly synchronized. Every misstep was an opportunity, and the humans never missed. More ships joined Eli's small team. Other human crews, once considered weak, now followed his tactics, learning the art of improvisation. Slowly, the enemy armada faltered. Ships turned away, others retreated. The humans had become a symbol, a spark of hope and fear all at once. Zyra watched from the main fleet command. "I don't understand," she said, whispering to herself. How can one small ship do all this?" The flagship. Then came the flagship. It was enormous, nearly 3 times the size of the largest alien warship. Its shields were legendary, its weapons devastating. The main fleet hesitated, even the council didn't know how to handle it. Eli's ship was small in comparison. His crew looked at him, fear flickering in their eyes. Eli met each gaze and smiled. "Remember what we are," he said. "We don't fight like them, we think like humans, we improvise, we survive, and we win." The flagship fired first. Massive energy beams tore through space, obliterating a squadron of alien warships in seconds. The human ship moved instinctively, the AI predicting the energy patterns and adjusting shields in real time. The beams hit nothing but empty space. Eli's plan was simple yet dangerous. He would use the flagship's own overconfidence against it. He led it toward a dense asteroid field, baiting it to follow. Mara adjusted weapons to fire from unusual angles, creating small but precise explosions that forced the flagship to maneuver awkwardly. Jace twisted the ship, leading the flagship deeper into the field. Every movement was calculated, yet improvisational. The flagship, massive and rigid, could not match the human ship's unpredictability. Rocks crashed into its shields, its weapons fired blindly and systems overloaded. Finally, Eli saw his chance. Using the ship's adaptive shields, micro-thrusters, and unconventional weapon patterns, they struck the flagship's core. Energy cascaded through its systems, shields flickered, and the flagship shuddered. With a final precise strike, the flagship erupted in a blinding explosion, sending shockwaves across the battlefield. The enemy armada faltered. Ships began to retreat. The humans had turned the tide. Aftermath, the battle ended with a stunning human victory. The rejected ship, small and patched, had survived against overwhelming odds. Not only had it survived, but it had outmaneuvered and destroyed the galaxy's most powerful enemy vessel. The Council could no longer deny it. Humans were no longer weak, no longer predictable, no longer irrelevant. They were cunning, inventive, and capable of feats the most advanced alien minds could not anticipate. Eli's crew emerged exhausted but triumphant. Mara clapped him on the shoulder. "We did it," she said, disbelief and pride in her voice. Eli smiled quietly. "We did, and this is only the beginning. The galaxy has no idea what humans can do when they work together." Zyra, observing from the command ship, whispered to herself again. "The humans, they think differently. They adapt, they survive, and they win." The victory was more than a battle, it was a statement. A single human ship, patched together from scrap and ingenuity, had shown the galaxy that humans were unpredictable, dangerous, and unstoppable when pushed to the edge. The human spirit Eli stood on the deck of the ship after the battle, staring at the stars. The galaxy was vast, filled with challenges and threats, but he knew humans had something no alien could match: creativity, courage, and instinct. They didn't just follow rules, they broke them, adapted, and overcame. The ship, patched and battered, hummed beneath his hands. It had survived asteroid belts, rogue fleets, and now an entire armada. It was more than metal and circuits. It was alive with potential, powered by human ingenuity and spirit. Eli turned to his crew. "The galaxy will remember this day," he said. "They will remember humans. They will remember what we are capable of, and when they see us again, they will not forget." The humans nodded, hearts proud and spirits unbroken. They had faced impossible odds and emerged victorious. And the galaxy was only beginning to realize what it meant to face a human starship. The galaxy was changing. News of the human ship's victory over the rogue armada spread faster than any council decree. Whispers traveled from one system to another. A single human ship defeated a fleet that dwarfed it. Humans are not weak. Humans are unpredictable. Humans are dangerous. Eli Vance walked through the corridors of his ship, patched panels glowing under the dim lights. He did not feel proud, not yet. Pride was for the council to have when they acknowledged the truth. Eli felt focus. The galaxy had more to throw at them, and he knew humans had to be ready. The council called for a meeting. It was unusual for them to request Eli's presence personally. Their tone was cautious, almost fearful. "The rogue armada was only the beginning," a counselor said gravely. We've detected a coalition forming in the outer rim. Their warships are larger, faster, and more advanced than any we have faced. They will attack the core systems. We need a plan." Eli nodded. "I know what we need to do." The council looked skeptical. "You, the human ship," Eli smiled faintly. "Humans don't fight like you. We adapt, we improvise, we survive, and we win. Let me lead this operation." The council hesitated, but fear outweighed pride. They agreed. This time, humans would not act as support, they would take the lead. Preparing the ship back in the hangar, Eli's crew worked tirelessly. Every system was upgraded. Mara fine-tuned the weapons to fire unpredictably. Jace recalibrated engines for even sharper maneuvers, and Rilo helped optimize shields and energy distribution. Eli himself added small innovations no alien could understand. Microenergy bursts hidden along the hull to confuse enemy sensors. Adaptive targeting systems that could anticipate enemy evasions. Emergency repair protocols that allowed damaged systems to self-correct mid-battle. The ship looked the same on the outside, patchwork metal, mismatched panels, but inside it had become a masterpiece of human ingenuity. Every part reflected one truth: humans think differently, humans adapt, humans survive. "Ready?" Eli asked. The crew nodded. "Let's show them what humans can do," Mara said. The outer rim assault the enemy fleet was massive. Thousands of warships stretched across space, each one designed for destruction. The core systems would fall if conventional strategies were used. Eli's ship darted forward. Unlike the rigid formations of the aliens, humans moved unpredictably. The ship weaved, twisted, and dodged with fluid motion, almost like it had a mind of its own. The first wave of enemy ships attacked, their weapons concentrated and precise. Mara fired from unexpected angles, each shot hitting weak points no alien would target. Shields adjusted instantly, absorbing energy where it was needed most. Jace twisted the ship through asteroid fields and debris clouds, using every obstacle as cover. The flagship of the enemy coalition, a colossal, heavily armed warship, approached, confident in its superiority. Eli did not flinch. "This is it," he said. "Remember who we are. Humans improvise, humans survive, humans win. The human advantage." The flagship unleashed a barrage powerful enough to destroy moons. Conventional warships were destroyed instantly, but Eli's ship moved unpredictably. Thrusters fired in bursts, shields adapted, and Mara's weapons disrupted the enemy's targeting systems. The flagship fired again. This time, Eli's plan came into play. He led the massive vessel into a dense asteroid field, a trap designed to exploit its size and rigidity. Smaller ships could move unpredictably, but the flagship could not. Rocks collided with its shields, weapons misfired, and chaos spread through its systems. Eli saw the opening. Using the ship's AI and adaptive systems, he coordinated a series of precise strikes at the flagship's core. Energy surged through the enemy ship, and with a final, well-placed attack, the flagship erupted in a blinding explosion. Shockwaves rippled across the enemy fleet. Confusion spread. Ships turned, retreated, or collided. Eli's ship moved through the chaos, unstoppable, precise, and unpredictable. The turning point: the humans did not stop. They became a storm of improvisation, moving through enemy lines, disrupting communications, and targeting weak points the aliens could not even see. The adaptive shields, microenergy bursts, and human instinct for chaos turned the battle in a way no alien fleet could counter. Even alien commanders began to whisper, "Humans, they think differently. They adapt, they survive, and they win." The enemy fleet began to retreat. Systems overloaded, ships broke apart, and the once mighty armada disintegrated under the relentless, unpredictable assault of the human starship. Eli's crew cheered quietly. They had done the impossible, yet they knew this was not just a battle, it was a statement. The galactic revelation news of the battle spread instantly. Across the galaxy, aliens could not comprehend it. One small, rejected ship, piloted by humans, had defeated a fleet hundreds of times its size. Humans, once considered weak and insignificant, were now feared and respected. The Council issued a formal statement. Humans have proven their ingenuity and bravery. Their tactics and inventions are unlike any we have seen. They are now a vital part of the Alliance's defense. Zyra, who had watched the entire battle, finally approached Eli. I don't understand how you did it, she said. Humans, you think differently. You adapt, you survive, you win. Eli smiled faintly. That's what makes humans dangerous. We don't just follow rules. We make our own. We improvise, we survive. And when the galaxy sees what we can do, they cannot ignore us. The human starship fleet, the victory of the rejected ship, inspired more humans. The Council began commissioning humans to design new ships, weapons, and strategies. Eli's ship, once mocked, became the blueprint for a new generation of human starships. Humans spread across the galaxy, leading fleets, innovating tactics, and proving that ingenuity, courage, and unpredictability could surpass raw power. Alien fleets began to fear humans, not just for their weapons, but for their minds. Eli watched as new ships took flight, each one a testament to human creativity. The galaxy had underestimated them for too long. Now humans were no longer the underdogs. They were the innovators, the heroes, and the unstoppable force that would shape the future of space. Eli's reflection late at night. Eli stood on the deck of his ship, looking out at the stars. The galaxy was vast, dangerous, and full of challenges, but he knew one thing for certain. Humans had earned their place among the stars. This ship, he whispered, touching the patched metal hull, was rejected by everyone. And yet here we are. We survived. We won. And the galaxy will never forget humans again. The crew nodded quietly. They had faced impossible odds, survived, and thrived. They had turned a joke, a rejected hull, into the galaxy's strongest weapon. The hum of the ship beneath him seemed almost alive, as if it understood the journey it had taken. From scrap metal to legend, it was a symbol not just of human ingenuity, but of the human spirit, clever, unpredictable, and unstoppable. Eli smiled. The galaxy had learned an important lesson. Humans are not weak. Humans are not predictable. Humans do not follow rules, they define them. And when humans stand together, nothing in the galaxy can stop them.